try this kind of tactics. But all the things I'm about to share, I want you to see through this lens of your strength and how it helps you to connect to parents, okay? Got it? Do you understand the assignment? Yes? Okay, good.
Wait, can you repeat it?
The assignment? Yes, okay. I'm gonna share some concrete, specific tactics, like try this, and I want you to see all of those through the lens of your strength.
Right.
So look at what your strength is, because the beauty of it is, we do not have to be the same for us to be successful. In fact, it is a beautiful thing that we're not, because we all have something different to offer. Your strength is exactly what your class needs, and let me add, especially the parents, because parents are struggling. If anybody out there is a parent, in my heart, I kind of hope you're struggling as much as me. Let's struggle together, shall we? Okay, so here's my first tactic, and this one, like, I hope it doesn't elicit like a physical response from you, because it can be a little bit like, ugh. I was so glad that Heidi and Jana Lee did their presentation. They just nailed it, making social media something positive. That was so good. If social media is tricky for you, and I'm not going to give you specifics of here's how to do social media, but if you don't know how to fit it in your life, let me give you some specific tips. My first one is I would recommend using an app timer. I don't know about you, but I get on social media with intent to like, I'm gonna promote my studio, I'm gonna connect with parents, and the next thing I know, it's been like an hour and I'm totally bugged that social media just like sucked my life away, and then I don't get on again. So get a timer for whatever app you're using so that you know this is how much time I want to spend and will spend, and it gives you a warning, you have 5 more minutes, and then it shuts off. Certainly you can go back in and change it, but that's more effort than it's worth, right? Even to go along with that, more than an app timer, I like, especially because I really like to organize things, I like to have specific days and even windows of time that I've set aside for it, so I feel like it's in my control. I am controlling my life, thank you very much, Instagram, is how I feel when I utilize my timer. The next one is, and this is gonna be tricky because some of us are like, I wanna be on there to advertise, but I don't want to follow a bunch of people. I would submit that maybe social media is not the place for you then, because it's all about connection. You're gonna want to follow every single person in your studio if you can. And that's a big ask. I don't think I've ever successfully done it because it's a little tricky to find people sometimes, but make it your goal to follow every parent. And I guess I mean every family, not necessarily every parent. But the things that I have learned from following parents is mind-blowing. People, for whatever reason, are really quick to share to a faceless audience, but very guarded when they look in your eyes. I have learned things like a child is transitioning out of naps, and isn't that helpful to know in my class, right? I have learned things like dad was laid off. That's really helpful to know so that I understand what I'm working with and can be proactive in my conversations. Things like if mom's pregnant or if there's a miscarriage. I learned those things on social media. I've also learned when we had a grandparent or a cousin pass away. That really affects our students and their parents. Those things are really helpful to know. I also learned that baby brother had a brain tumor. No parent is gonna come into class and be like, hi Marja, I'm so glad to see you, my husband lost his job, let's sing, right? They come investing in their child, and so they're not gonna share personal things about themselves. If you follow them, you have like just kind of a sneaky into the back door with things that they already want to share, okay? The next one is comment on their content. Connection only happens when it goes both ways, right? If I am out there with the intent to advertise for myself and to be self-serving, it feels that way. I need to not only give, but I need to receive. Nobody likes a stalker, so don't do it on social media either. Make sure that you're commenting, even if it's things like, I'm so happy for your family. what a beautiful smile. Like, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be everybody, but set aside time not only to post, but also to comment. Those would be my tips for social media. The next tactic I want to share is, this is probably my favorite one. Unsolicited positive feedback. Each semester, I send one email to every parent with unsolicited positive feedback. And that may sound like really overwhelming, but I've got it kind of down to an art, so this may work for you. What I do is, I have a little sticky note that I have next to my keyboard, or whatever, like first year it's next to me. I'll write down 4 children's names, so half the class, and then 1 or 2 words about things that I've seen that are positive. It can be things like skill-based or concept, like their major scale was amazing, or they strummed the auto harp with perfect rhythm, whatever. Or it could be things like, Jane was really looking out for her partner today and helped her to make the, her music alphabet. So it can be things about behavior, it can be things about skill, it can be things about interaction. It doesn't really matter. And when I'm done with those sticky notes, I'll then after class, not during, because that would be awkward, send an email. You could do text if you want, but email works best for my purposes. I'll send an email to the parent and I'll put a dot on their homework tracker, like my roster/homework tracker. I'll put a dot next to their name so that I remember I've gotten to this student. And it's just once per semester. So within a few weeks, I can actually get through all of my classes. It does not take hardly any time at all if you have kind of a method to do it. I think the most important part about this is, those people that love your child? Like, how do you feel about that person? Even, there have been people in my life that are tricky for me, but then I see that they love my child and it makes me love them. That's what happens when parents receive this unsolicited feedback. They start to love you even if they don't even really know you. So I want to share with you some of the responses that I've gotten from this feedback from parents. This email meant so much to me. Now that's what this parent said, and I haven't read maybe what the meaning to the parent was behind it. Could mean a lot of things, but maybe the meaning behind this is, this met an unmet need. How many people are reaching out saying positive things about the boy that calls the teacher poo, right? They need to know that you love them. Another one said, so often I wish that people could see the real Evie she keeps hidden. Or in other words, the parent is saying to me, my child and I feel seen. Isn't that powerful? It took hardly any time at all. Another one says, thank you ever so much for sending me this. In other words, you've invested in me. They recognize that I've invested in them. Another one said, we feel so lucky to have you as a teacher. Or in other words, I value our experience in class. Isn't that so meaningful to have a parent that recognizes the connection that they can have with you? Now, here's the tricky part about this. What if I miss someone? What if I only do it once? Ah! Like, we get lost in our heads all the time, right? The beauty of it is, you've never told them you're gonna do it. So here you are meeting expectations, and then you send an email and you're up here exceeding expectations. The nice thing is, you've not said to anyone you're gonna do it. They're not expecting it. No one's comparing notes like, hey, you got to everybody. Can you guys still hear me? Did you just lose me?
We just lost it.
But you're really loud.
But you're really That is true! Can I abandon ship with this guy? Should I take it off or is that back on? Okay. I'm just that great. Okay. I don't know. Can you check out my pants, please, Simi? Tell me what's happening. Okay. I really did lose my train of thought. Oh, so nobody's expecting it, and nobody's comparing notes. If you get to every single child except for one, Good news is that parent doesn't have any idea. So don't let this be about failure. Like, there's no way to diminish what this is. It can only raise the bar for you. So don't have shame involved here if you don't get to everybody, okay? Does that sound all right?